Hey guys, and welcome to my 27 weeks pregnancy update for baby number 3. So let's show off the belly first of all. So here is our 27-week baby bump for baby number 3. And yes, I'm totally wearing the same dress that I wore in last week's video actually, and that just lets you know how limited the clothing supply is right now because I am totally into dresses and I tried to wear maxi dresses because it is cold out and I only have a handful of them. So we're wearing the same dresses last week, but don't worry, it's a different week. So I did have a doctor's appointment in this past week and I do want to talk a little bit about that first of all. So my belly was measuring 30 centimeters, my uterus was measuring 30 centimeters at 26.5-ish weeks, so a little bit high. But we already know baby is measuring like 2 weeks ahead, so it's really not like super high, if you ask me. Compared to like my other pregnancies and stuff, it's really not that bad. It's very in line with how I measured with both of the boys. But I did have a little ultrasound at the beginning of every doctor's appointment. They do a tiny like 2-3 minute ultrasound just to check on things. And my doctor said that my fluid looked on the high end of normal and I was heading toward having polyhydramnios again. And honestly, that made me really upset because the past week or two now, I was already having a lot of anxiety about that happening again. And to hear like the words coming out of her mouth at the appointment confirming that it was happening again really sucked. So baby is still breech and they were moving around quite a bit. She showed me on my belly all the different places that like where their head was located throughout the 2-minute ultrasound. So baby is moving around a ton, still has plenty of room in there, but they are still not the correct direction. Not that it really matters. I'm gonna end up in a C-section this time anyway, but I am convinced that having a breech baby makes it so much more uncomfortable for mom. I just feel so much more uncomfortable this time than I did with either of my 2 previous pregnancies. And with both the boys, they were always pretty good about being head down, especially by this point. I'm pretty sure they were both totally head down. And so it's just, I know it's my 3rd pregnancy. It probably has a lot to do with it being my 3rd pregnancy. Baby's measuring big. I'm getting higher fluids, you know, all of those things combined. I just feel so uncomfortable lately. I feel like I am, you know, days away from being full term. Like I feel like I am so pregnant. Oh, but one thing she did kind of say that was kind of cool is that she saw baby doing practice breathing already, which is kind of a little bit early to be seeing the practice breathing on ultrasound. So that was cool and a little bit, you know, a little bit comforting knowing that if stupid things happen, at least baby's kind of working on their lungs, you know? Not that we really have any signs of stupid things happening. You know, I don't have any signs really of preterm labor. I'm not getting crazy contractions. I know when I start getting contractions and I know the situations that cause them. And so I just try to avoid them. You know, I don't stand for long periods of time. When I'm making lunch or whatever, I sit down and take breaks like every couple minutes while I'm standing up in the kitchen. I know what things cause my contractions and so I stop doing those things. So it's not like I really think preterm labor is like right around the corner or anything. It's just that in the back of my mind, it's always in the back of my mind because of the stupid things that happened with my first son, Calvin. I had preterm premature rupture of membranes at 32 weeks with him and I just want to avoid that, but it's always in the back of my mind. And I did talk more about that in last week's video if you guys want to hear me just ranting about how anxious I've been lately. You can watch last week's video. But the funny thing about that is that I was already being paranoid about having high fluids before I went to the doctor where she confirmed that I had it, you know, so I almost feel like I caused it because I was having, you know, negative thoughts about it, whereas the rest of my pregnancy I've been so positive about it not happening this time. Anyway, let's move on. So I have added a pillow to my snuggle. On the long side, I would usually like just wrap one leg around it or like rest one knee on top of it. Well, I need more elevation, so I've added an extra pillow underneath my snuggle so it's double thick there where I can rest my leg on it at nighttime for bedtime. Now, one weird thing that's happened this week is I feel like the nausea is coming back. I feel like that might have happened with the boys as well in like the 3rd trimester, and I don't think we're like technically in the 3rd trimester yet, But yeah, I've just been feeling very, like my stomach hurts, I feel nauseous. I don't quite feel like I could like really throw up. It doesn't quite feel like morning sickness, but like 2 or 3 days this week, I have had that just yucky kind of feeling. So that's been stupid. I have been remembering more dreams lately. Not that I have really talked much about dreams this time around. In my previous pregnancy updates with my first 2 sons, I talked about my dreams all the time. If I had a weird dream, I would tell you guys about it, and I don't really do that this time around. But I will just say that I've definitely been having dreams that I remember more. Like, I just feel like maybe I'm having more dreams, or I'm just like better at remembering them lately. But yeah, some weird dreams lately. This baby has been extra active lately, and I feel like they have finally reached, you know, like directly under the boob area, you know, like in my rib cage area, and it has been uncomfortable, and I feel like it almost happened like overnight, like 2 nights ago. I feel like I just woke up that morning and I was like, wow, the baby is like really high up right now. So baby is breech, so it's just like their head up here. So at least I'm not getting little baby feet and kicks going on in my ribs. I remember my first son, Calvin, always had his little feet tucked up in my ribs, and it was super uncomfortable. So at least I'm not experiencing that because baby is still breech. So I'm not experiencing it yet, but I know that the second that baby flips over, their little tiny feet are gonna be way up in my ribcage, just like my first son was. Holy crap, guys, I don't remember having to pee so much with both of the boys. Like, I feel like I pee a stupid amount. Like, I pee all the time. I get up, last night actually was a super good night. I only got up twice to pee last night in the middle of the night, which was amazing. That was super awesome. Usually it's like 4 times a night, which is just exhausting. Like, I'm not getting good rest, guys, if I'm gotta get up 4 times to pee in the middle of the night. But like, I pee every half hour. Like, seriously, I could pee, leave the house, go get the groceries, just a grocery pickup, come home, and I had to pee like so much I can't even like help the boys out of the car. I need to like run inside and pee first. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. And I don't remember that with either of the boys. I just feel like there's so much pressure. Like, it just feels like baby is always like on my bladder, man. It's like ridiculous. So we are team green this time. We're not finding out baby's sex until their birthday, but honestly, this past week I have had this unbelievable urge to know if baby is a boy or a girl. And I know, like, you know, baby's birthday is just right around the corner. Like, why am I feeling that way? We've made it this far. We don't need to know, you know, we can wait it out. But I think that it kind of stems from my worries about preterm labor, because baby girls do so much better than baby boys when they come early. That's one thing that they warned me about so much when I was pregnant with Calvin, when I was in the hospital with Calvin and he was, you know, trying to come early. They were always like, you know, he's going to have to be in there until his due date. Boys just don't do as good as girls when they come early. And so I think that's part of it. I wish that if I knew that baby was a girl, I feel like I would feel a little bit less worried about baby maybe coming early and stupid things happening. But on the flip side of that, if I knew right now that baby was a boy, I would still be super duper anxious about preterm labor stuff. I do feel like winter is going by really quickly. It's already February 1st as I'm filming this video, which is like crazy to say. That's insane. Winter's getting out of here quickly, which hopefully means baby is gonna come quickly. You know, like, it's not gonna feel like it's forever before we get to meet our baby. But at the same time, it's like super weird. It's just a very weird experience. I usually, like, the past few years, I get very winter bluesy, you know, seasonal depression or whatever they call it. Winter just kind of sucks. And I've noticed that in the years when I'm pregnant over winter, I don't feel like that. And I don't feel like that this time around. Winter's going by fast. I don't feel like we're stuck in the middle of winter. I'm not, you know, miserable mentally, you know, like, I'm not just like, oh, like, we're stuck inside for the next month or 2 or whatever. I don't feel like that when I'm pregnant. So that's a bonus about being pregnant, I guess. And I definitely noticed that with both of my boys as well. I didn't ever really get that, like, seasonal depression when I was pregnant with them. But I do want to say my pregnancy anxiety and just worries about preterm labor and all the stupid things that come with having high fluids my anxiety's still been stupid this week. I just didn't want to spend the whole video whining about it again like I did last week. And it's not that having high fluids in itself is a big deal, it's just that I really thought things were gonna go differently this time. Everything was looking so good up until this last doctor's appointment. You know, my fluids weren't looking too high. Everything looked awesome. And even though baby was growing big, that wasn't really a big deal to me because my other babies have been big. It's just sucky for things to be going so well and then all of a sudden it's like a slap in the face. Like, to hear the words Polyhydramnios is just like, ugh. So yeah, it's not that having high fluids is bad in and of itself. It's just that I know the complications that can happen to me and my pregnancies and my babies with that complication, you know? So that's the trouble. In my first pregnancy, I remember my doctor didn't make a big deal about me having high fluids, and then like 2 weeks later, my waters ruptured, you know? So it's just really hard to think about what if things go the same stupid freaking way they did with my first son. Like, it's really, really worrisome. But I'm trying not to, you know, dwell on it. I'm trying not to constantly think about it, but it's just really hard. It's definitely really hard. So right now I'm definitely in this stage where I'm just trying to get to the next part, you know. Right now I'm 27 weeks. I'm just trying to get to 28 weeks, where it's technically the 3rd trimester. And then I'm just trying to get to March. And then I'm just trying to get to 32 weeks, which is when things went stupid with Calvin. And then I'm just trying to get to full term. You know, like, it's just setting these little goals and milestones in my mind. You know, I only have 1 week until I am in the 3rd trimester. I think it helps make it a little bit more manageable. That's definitely the stage that I'm in right now anyway. So yeah, I think I will leave you guys with that. I hope you enjoyed this little update. I hope your pregnancies are going well. Let me know down in the comments below how things are looking for you guys. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.